Chapter 81 Bibi Dong's Ending. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Because Qian Renxue had a tragic childhood, but was born in the top power Wuhuan Palace, she has an elegant and cold personality, noble and majestic. In addition, her mind is extremely smart and calm, and the city is very deep, but under the influence of the aura of Tang San, the protagonist, Shirliji finally became a love brain. I have to say that the halo of the protagonist is really terrifying. In the past, Douluo Bo didn't know that there was a fairy grass in the sky, and in the latter, Qian Renxue repeatedly let the little bastard get into trouble. Originally, based on your city's normal behavior, knowing that Tang San was his enemy and unable to recruit him for his own use, he would definitely kill him. However, she felt pity for him and felt that he was a talented person. Although she had several opportunities to kill him, she didn't kill him. And you just listen to what people say. If they tell you to show your true colors, you really have to take off your disguise. The plan you have been planning for 20 years has not yet succeeded, so you can't help but expose yourself. You shouldn't do it at all. Anyway, I was quite confused when I first watched it. I can only say that the aura of the Son of Destiny is invincible. It can turn you into a love brain one by one, yes, one by one. Hulaina, don't doubt it, I'm talking about you as well. As long as your enemy is a woman of the same age, you will be unable to help but fall in love with him. You know how scary it is. I turned into a love brain and fell in love with that little brat. Hulaina pointed at herself blankly, with a look of disbelief on her face. How could she fall in love with her enemy? It's simply impossible. But then I thought about it, could it be that the halo of the protagonist that the other party mentioned really has such terrible rules? In an instant, Hulaina shivered, not only Hulaina, but many diary holders shuddered. All women of the same age who were hostile to him would unconsciously like each other. The protagonist's aura is too terrifying. Who is not afraid? Who doesn't panic? What Wu Xing said made Ning Rongrong's skin crawl. She was afraid that she would also be affected. Seeing this, Qian Renxue was also in disbelief. She would actually be merciful to her enemies. Are you kidding? She has never been merciful. Wu Xing didn't know that his words had frightened countless diary holders, and they continued to write, of course, now that I have appeared here, everyone is also a time traveler. Don't worry about this guy's aura of wisdom. I will take action myself. When the time comes, I will also need Xiao Wu, Rongrong, Zhusheng and Yu Shrek, 3 beauties to assist me. Break the spell before your eyes. Otherwise, it is very likely that you will continue to be affected, leading to sacrifices and sacrifices to heaven. Originally, Wu Xing was taking stock of the strongest female soul masters in the Douluo world. There was no need to write this at all, but how could he let go of any opportunity to make arrangements, so that while Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqin could provide cover, he could also let Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqin use the protagonist's aura to make them. Xiao Wu willingly took the initiative to put a hat on his head, in front of the little brat. Xiao Wu took the initiative to be intimate with him, deliberately letting him see her, which was irritating just thinking about it. The euphemistic name is to break the curse, but in reality it is a bull's head against the opponent. This guy is really bad at cheating. Next, let's take stock of the second place. She is the current pope of Wuhuan Palace, Bibi Dong. He is the second soul master with twin martial souls in the history of Douluo Continent, but he is the first one to successfully solve the hidden dangers of twin martial souls. The previous soul master with twin martial souls is already dead. She is also the youngest soul master to reach the title of Douluo so far, and she is also one of the killing gods in the killing city. The martial souls are the Death Spider Emperor and the Soul-Eating Spider Emperor. Their talents are far inferior to those of the little Yakuza. Furthermore, Bibi Dong is a Rakshasa god who only accepted the inheritance at level 99, so her divine power is far stronger than most gods. She can be said to be the only one in the world of Douluo. Without any support, I broke through completely by relying on my own talent and belief. Pen pals of Douluo world, are you shocked when you see this? Then I have to tell you that Bibi Dong before was just a pure fool. Not only was he deceived by Yu Xiaojiang, but his temperament changed drastically because of what his mentor did. She was very talented before, but before something happened, even if she continued to grow, she would still be far from her current achievements. It was because of the stimulation of that incident that she went from being silly and sweet at the beginning to becoming the Pope who surpasses tens of thousands of people. You are just silly Baidian, your whole family is stupid. After Bibi Dong learned the meaning of silly Baidian through the diary notes, she was so angry that she went to the other party and stuffed it into the other person's mouth with her feet. This guy can't spit out ivory from his dog's mouth. At first, I was very happy when I saw the other person talking about his various domineering titles. I even sighed that it was finally my turn. But I never expected that before I was happy for a while, this guy suddenly changed his tone and turned into a fool. Sweet, such a huge contrast that she almost couldn't carry it in one breath. Anti-fans are anti-fans. What I said before is all lies. This is the usual tactic of the other party. Hulaina on the side also had a strange look on her face after she understood the meaning of silly Baidian. She never thought that the teacher who was always solemn and majestic in front of her had a contrasting side when she was young. She didn't know why, but when she thought of silly Baitian's face, which looked so easy to deceive, and combined with the teacher's current situation, Hulaina felt like laughing. But she didn't dare to make a sound, so she could only control her twitching body, which made her feel a little uncomfortable. Is it funny? Bibi Dong, who seemed to be aware of Hulaina's actions, changed her expression and said coldly. Teacher, I didn't. Hulaina was so frightened that she quickly shook her head. Laugh if you want. Bibi Dong said angrily. Pfft. Hearing this, Hulaina couldn't hold it back and burst out laughing instantly, but when she saw the teacher's sharp gaze, she quickly covered her mouth. You're really smiling. Bibi Dong's entire face darkened, and a big hash mark appeared on her forehead. My apprentice is becoming more and more arrogant, and he is starting to make fun of his teacher. Teacher Nana is wrong. Hulaina plopped and knelt down directly. Okay. Bibi Dong looked at the frightened Hulaina and waved her hand. Ever since she saw the hateful diary owner exposing her dirty information, she knew that her image in front of the diary holders was gone. Never return. Rather than being forceful, it's better to be more generous. It has to be said that Bibi Dong is really fond of Hulaina. If it were anyone else, she would have been thrown into the Death Canyon to feed the soul beasts. The former Donger beauty was cute, kind, and carefree. The later Donger beauty turned dark and became more and more extreme, and finally even wanted to destroy Douluo Continent. So it is natural to become the villain of this world. After all, there is a protagonist and there is a villain. There is light and there is darkness. These are the basic elements of the novel text. So he was destined to stand on the opposite side of Tang San, which led to a battle between the two gods. In the end, he died in order to save Qian Renxue. Chapter 82: A Good Face System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Am I dead? Or did I die saving Xiaoxue? Although Bibi Dong was surprised when she saw this, she didn't seem too surprised by her ending. She had had a guess since the other party's first diary entry, and now it was just confirmed, and being able to save Xiaoxue from death actually made her feel somewhat relieved. She knew that she owed her daughter a lot. If it really couldn't be changed, this ending would be the best for her. She died to save me. Qian Renxue slumped on the chair with a look of disbelief on her face, but the owner of the diary has already said so, and it is definitely not false. But why? Fate wanted to play tricks on her like this. Her grandfather died as a sacrifice for herself. She thought that this indifferent woman was not worthy of being a mother, but now she was told that she would sacrifice her life to save herself in the end. Hulaina looked devastated when she saw her teacher dying in the end, and she couldn't accept it. No, how could the teacher die in the hands of that little Yakuza? She didn't want to believe it, nor did she want to accept it. Tang San must die. Hulaina clenched her fists tightly and swore in her heart, after talking about the beauty of Donger, let's take stock of the number one. But what about this number one? Although she is only in the rumors of Douluo World 1, she has actually appeared in Shue's consciousness in the anime. The female soul master is Qian Yuhan. She is the second-generation angel god and has lived in the Douluo god realm for nearly 20,000 years. Taking the ending as a node, her soul power was around level 120 at that time, which was obviously stronger than Donger's soul power of level 100, so I ranked her first. As Wu Xing announced the last female soul master, the diary holders in the Douluo Continent world were all amazed. Not only have they broadened their horizons in the past 2 days, but they have also taken advantage of the Pope and his friends. Now even the secrets of the divine world have appeared. It's really not enough and I want to know more. Okay, that's it for today's diary update. I hope you like it. If nothing happens around me in the future, I will continue to talk about more anecdotes. In order to take care of other world diary holders, I will occasionally choose to obtain golden legendary beauties and give a brief introduction. Thank you for listening, see you tomorrow. As soon as he finished writing, Wu Xing exited the diary panel and communicated with the system to receive the reward. When Yilingling saw this, he also closed his copy of the diary. The inventory of her men is like listening to a book, very attractive, even if she is not on the list. Ding, it is detected that the host has updated a diary. As a reward, you will receive X 1000 boxes of Feijai Happy Water, X 1000 boxes of Kiakia melon seeds, X 1000 boxes of snow beer, X 1000 boxes of non-ru peanuts, and pickled peppers. What the hell? When Wu Xing heard that there were a lot of rewards in the system, he was still a little confused, but when he realized what he was doing, he called him good guy. This damn system is to see me treating my diary as a storyteller, and actually giving myself all kinds of snacks and drinks. But I am a storyteller, not a listener. Go system, are you making a mistake? Ding, this system will not make mistakes. Please don't be narcissistic as the host. These are not given to you, but to all the diary listeners. Otherwise, this system will reward you so much. Stop dreaming. You are only worth a box of Fat House Happy Water today at most. I originally thought that the system would not answer any of my questions other than issuing rewards, but I didn't expect that the sun came out from the west and responded in an unprecedented way. It's just that the system almost didn't make him spit out a mouthful of blood. Husband, what's wrong with you? Watching Wu Xing finish updating his diary and his face kept changing, Yilingling quickly came over and sat next to him, stretching out her delicate hands to pinch his shoulders. Upon hearing this, Wu Xing reached out and gently placed his hand on Yilingling's pinched jade hand. A wry smile appeared on his face, and he comforted him. It's nothing, it's just that the reward was a bit unexpected. Isn't it good? Yilingling asked softly. It's just so, neither good nor bad. Wu Xing didn't know how to answer, so he simply waved his hand and took out one box each and placed it on the ground. These are the snacks and drinks he liked to eat and drink when he was watching anime before time travel. Now that he has come to Douluo Continent, he can taste some of them, which can be regarded as memories. They are better than lollipops, Durex and the like. Even if this Go system bluntly said that the diary he updated today was only worth a box of Fat House Happy Water. Looking at the boxes of stuff appearing on the ground, Yilingling asked in surprise, Husband, what are these? Something to eat and drink. Wu Xing said as he opened a box and took out 2 bottles of Feijai Happy Water. He pulled the tabs and handed them over. Try it and see if it tastes good. Yilingling took it and looked down at the black bubbles of water displayed inside. He frowned slightly and a thought came to his mind. Is this really drinkable? But soon she saw her man, grabbing the strange jar and taking a sip. She also followed the other man's approach and took a careful sip. In an instant, I felt a strange stimulation flowing down my tongue and into my throat. How is it? Does it taste good? Wu Xing looked at Yilingling and asked. It's okay, hubby, is this something from your hometown? After thinking for a while, Yilingling asked, remembering the alpine lollipop from before. Yes, a drink from the world before my husband traveled through time. Wu Xing replied with a smile, and then opened another 9 boxes of different shapes. Try these again, see which ones you like, keep more, and the rest will be put on the trading platform. Yes. Yi Lingling nodded obediently, and then under Wu Xing's guidance, he began to taste the specialties of his man's hometown. Seeing Yi Lingling tasting various snacks like a curious baby, Wu Xing smiled half-heartedly, then opened the trading platform and saw a few items on it. He was a little suspicious that these things were distributed to him purely to fill the goods. I didn't expect that the ghost system was so face-saving. I thought that opening up the trading platform and having so many gadgets here and there would be too much for my face, so I gave him something to do in disguise, according to one bag for each portion, one can for each portion, and one bottle for each portion. After all, 1 gold soul coin is put on the shelf, then open the diary panel. Dear beauties of Douluo world, take a look, I have newly added a bunch of hometown specialties. You can buy them if you like them. When many beauties saw that the diary had been updated and were about to do their own things, they suddenly found a prompt to update the diary copy, and they all opened it in confusion. When he saw Wu Xing, he updated a line of text, shouted like a merchant, and clicked to enter the trading platform. Looking at the originally empty trading interface and the overwhelming number of products, everyone was dumbfounded. Is the owner of this diary crazy? Get so many products at once? Ding! You sold a bag of Kiakia melon seeds and received 0.95 gold soul coins. Ding! You sell a can of Fat House Happy Water and get 0.95 gold soul coins. Ding! You sell. Seeing the red numbers appearing on the lower left and the news of crazy growth, Wu Xing couldn't help but take a breath. At this time, he had the urge to become a villain in both worlds. This is simply a huge profit. Chapter 83 The Spiritual Kite arrives again. You are listening at numb. After playing with the trading platform, Wu Xing and Yi Lingling left the room. After going to the cafeteria to finish lunch, I also packed a meal. When I returned to my dormitory, I saw that Douluo Yen had woken up as soon as I opened the door. Are you hungry? Wu Xing came to the bed and sat down, asking with concern. Douluo Yen nodded, but when he saw Yi Lingling following behind, his face turned red and he even dared not look at her. I only got up now after being bullied by Wu Xing, and I feel so embarrassed just thinking about it. When Yi Lingling saw this, she also knew how to do it. She just smiled and called Sister Yan Yan and said nothing more, but Wu Xing opened the lunch box without any discernment, picked up the cutlery and spooned the dishes to her mouth, while opening his mouth and saying, "Come on, Yanzi, open your mouth." I'll do it myself. Douluo Yan's face was flushed by Wu Xing. It would be okay if no one was there. She might have a sweet experience of being cared for by her man, but Lingling is aside. How can you let her go? You are all my women, why are you embarrassed? Looking at Douluo Yen who was reaching out, Wu Xing did not hand her the lunch box, but said with a smile, maybe Lingling will be like you now in 2 days. Wu husband, you are so evil. Douluo Yen was so embarrassed that she was even embarrassed to see others. Yi Lingling's fair face turned bright red when she heard Wu Xing's words. Okay, open your mouth. My husband can feed his wife without looking shameful. Wu Xing coaxed with a smile. Seeing this, Douluo Yen had no choice but to open her red mouth and chew lightly. Although she looked shy on her face, she was extremely sweet inside. Is it to your taste? Wu Xing asked with a smile again. Yeah. Douluo Yen nodded. These were all her favorite dishes, so I guess this bad guy put his heart into it. Wu Xing smiled, took another spoonful and brought it to her mouth. At the same time, he took out a tissue from the table next to him and thoughtfully wiped the oil from the corner of her mouth. This seemingly random action immediately made Douluo Yan's beautiful eyes sparkle with happiness. She never thought that she would have such a day, and hoped that time could stop at this moment forever. Yi Lingling, who was on the side, watched Wu Xing feed Sister Yan Yan intimately and wipe the oil from the corners of her mouth thoughtfully, with anticipation rising in her heart. Honey, I'm full. After eating for a while, Douluo Yen rubbed his belly and said, she wanted her man to keep feeding her, but her belly was indeed a little bloated. Hearing this, Wu Xing put down the lunch box in his hand, wiped it clean for her, and then let go. Husband, why did you put so many things on the shelves today? That when Wu Xing finished cleaning up, Douluo Yen couldn't help but ask. Before Wu Xing came back, Douluo Yen woke up for a while, and she also read the updated contents of the diary. They are all rewards given by the system today. They asked me to share them with the audience. They really regarded me as a storyteller. Wu Xing told her the system's requirements. No wonder. A smile appeared on Douluo Yan's face. He didn't expect that this system has such an interesting side. But those snacks and drinks will be given to you after you feel better. Wu Xing seemed to have thought of something and joked. Douluo Yan was startled, and then his smile gradually changed. This bad guy is here again. I don't care about it. Douluo Yan replied arrogantly. Seeing Douluo Yan's arrogant look, Wu Xing laughed, stretched out his hand and pinched her beautiful nose. Okay, if my Yanzi doesn't care about it, then my husband won't prepare it for you in the future. You bullied me again. Douluo Yan opened his mouth and slapped the other person hard. Wu Xinghaha grabbed her free hand, and just when they were both leaning forward, a voice suddenly sounded from the room. Hey, I haven't seen you for over half a month, little man. He's not slow. He has 2 more little girlfriends. Hearing this voice, the 3 people's faces changed one after another. They followed their gazes and happened to see Ling Yuan leaning in front of the balcony window. She was holding a bottle of Master Kong green tea in her hand. Why are you here again? Wu Xing rolled his eyelids angrily when he saw it was Ling Yuan. Why, your sister won't even let you come to see you. Are you disturbing your good business? Ling Yuan glanced at Douluo Yan and raised his eyebrows. She could see Douluo Yan's current condition. He had obviously been eaten up by this little man. Wu Xing waved his hand and said with a look of disgust, Why do I smell a sour smell? Sister, will you be jealous? Are you kidding me? Ling Yuan was very angry. She still remembered that before she left last time, the little guy in front of her invaded her severely, and she still hadn't even settled the score yet. Husband, who is this sister? Before Wu Xing could speak, Yi Lingling looked at the woman who appeared in the room and asked. She is the Ling Yuan Douluo who my husband told you about, the 3-legged cat kung fu, and eager for quick success and instant benefits, so he received the lunch box early. Wu Xing introduced to Yi Lingling and Douluo Yan with a smile. Wu Xing's introduction almost made Ling Yuan go berserk. When Yi Lingling and Douluo Yan heard this, their expressions also showed a hint of strangeness. After rolling their eyes at their men, they said, Hello, Sister Ling Yuan. The other party was a real title Douluo, so Wu Xing was too bold to mock him in person. Of course, they didn't know that their man had kissed each other forcefully, and their jaws would have dropped if they knew. Hello, 2 sisters. Ling Yuan responded with a smile. Compared to Wu Xing, a little man, Yi Lingling and Douluo Yan took the initiative to say hello to her, which made her very satisfied. Wu Xing did not give her any face, and asked again, You haven't said anything yet, why are you here again? Sister, under the order of the Pope, came to protect you and be your protector. Ling Yuan answered, and then asked, How is it? Are you touched? I'm touched. Do you want to pledge yourself to me? Wu Xing answered with a smile after understanding the other party's intention. Okay, if you don't care about your little girlfriends being jealous, then come on. Ling Yuan slowly walked over and sat on the sofa opposite Wu Xing, not forgetting to curl her fingers at him. Wu Xing was defeated immediately. Sooner or later, this monster will ride under you. The conversation between the 2 made Douluo Yan and Yi Lingling on the side open their mouths as if they were dreaming. This beautiful title Douluo sister actually flirted with her own man in front of them. In an instant, they had a new understanding of powerful people like title Douluo. They thought that powerful people like title Douluo had the demeanor of a superior person, but they never imagined that it would be like this. Seeing Wu Xing's defeat, Ling Yuan curled up her lips and asked, Where's Sister Ruoshi? Why isn't she here? She went into mimicry training to attack the Soul Sect. Wu Xing did not hide anything and answered truthfully. Ling Yuan nodded, then looked at Douluo Yan and Yi Lingling. Are the 2 sisters also diary holders? Yes, Sister Ling Yuan. The 2 girls said respectfully. This little man is very carefree, you should be more careful in the future. Ling Yuan said with a smile. Wu Xing immediately became unhappy when he heard this. What do you mean, sowing discord between us? If you're like this, sister, do you still need to provoke me? Isn't it true? Ling Yuan said with a smile. Yes, Lingling, Yanzi, you have to watch carefully and don't let some women with ulterior motives succeed. Ling Yuan. Dugu Yan, Yi Lingling. It's the end of the year and I'm quite busy, so updates can only be guaranteed. I'll update more when I'm busy. Chapter 84 Heartbeat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Due to the arrival of Ling Yuan and the fact that Dugu Yan had just gone through the stage of transformation from a girl to a woman, Wu Xing did not make any mistakes. Even if the other party never showed up, it was impossible for him to just finish eating Dugu Yan and then go to Yi Lingling's place the next moment. Although he is carefree and admits that he is a scumbag, he is not Teddy and only wants to do that. After all, while he is a scumbag, he also has the position of another warm man, that is, he knows how to take care of women's feelings. In this way, more than half a month passed unknowingly, until Su Ruoshi attacked the level 40 soul sect and came out. Husband. As soon as she came out of seclusion, Su Ruoshi couldn't help but rush into her man's arms and vent her longing. Wu Xing hugged Su Ruoshi and said with a smile on his face, Ruoshi, your soul power is level 40? Yes. Su Ruoshi nodded sweetly, which was much earlier than she expected in a month. It was also thanks to the training cards of Dugu Yan and Yi Lingling that they became soul sects so quickly. Su Ruoshi once again expressed her gratitude for the friendship between the two women, but Dugu Yan and Yi Lingling just let it go. They were both members of the same family, so there was no need to be polite. Since my Ruoshi is now a soul sect, let me celebrate you with the reward my husband promised you. Let's go back to the dormitory. Wu Xing waved his hand and waved the three girls back to the dormitory. As for Ling Yuan, she would only come out to chat with Wu Xing in private, and would never appear in public. Otherwise, how could she be called a protector? Moreover, her identity is not suitable for public display. Back in the dormitory, Wu Xing took out a 100,000-year-old perfect soul ring from the diary warehouse. After more than half a month of updates, he already had 400,000-year perfect soul rings, so he didn't feel bad at all. Of course, even if he doesn't get it in the past half-month, he won't be stingy with his woman. As soon as the 100,000-year-old perfect soul ring appeared, the red light suddenly illuminated the entire room, giving people a huge sense of oppression and at the same time mixed with infinite temptation. Looking at the red halo of the soul ring in front of her, Su Ruoshi's face showed excitement and a little trembling. Old husband, do you really want me to absorb this 100,000-year soul ring? Of course, how can I lie? Wu Xing touched Su Ruoshi's head in a funny way. Old husband. Su Ruoshi was so moved that she wanted to kneel down immediately and offer her most sincere prayer for her man. After thinking about it a few times, Su Ruoshi seemed to have made a decision and said, Husband, let's wait until you reach the soul power level before absorbing it. She was indeed attracted by the 100,000-year soul ring. It should be said that there was no soul master who was not attracted by it, but she still resisted the temptation. She didn't want her men to be unable to absorb a 100,000-year soul ring because of herself. In her heart, nothing was as important as her man. I still have 300,000-year soul rings, what are you worried about? Wu Xing smiled again. But. Su Ruoshi wanted to insist but was interrupted. There's nothing wrong with it. What's my husband's is yours. You don't have to worry that I won't be able to absorb the 100,000-year soul ring in the future. There will definitely be more after the diary system is established. Not just you, but also Yanzi and Lingling. Absorb a 100,000-year soul ring for me. Unless you don't want your man, and you don't want to follow in your man's footsteps. Wu Xing said very domineeringly. If he didn't say it more seriously, what if his women pushed him around one by one? Sure enough, as soon as these words came out, Su Ruoshi finally gritted her teeth and took the soul ring that her man had traded. Even Dugu Yan and Yi Lingling on the side looked startled and their eyes were shining. They were both moved. Their men were really kind to them, and they were even more lucky to have met them. Okay, you absorb it, my husband and Yanzi Lingling will help you protect the law. Wu Xing saw Su Ruoshi taking the soul ring and ordered without saying a word. Wu Xing's unbearable words made Su Ruoshi's heart tremble. She decided that she would protect this relationship no matter what in the future, even if she sacrificed her life. sitting down cross-legged to calm down the emotions in her heart, Su Ruoshi began to slowly close her eyes. In an instant, soul power emerged from her body and communicated with the soul ring floating in front of her. Seeing Su Ruoshi starting to absorb the soul ring, Wu Xing breathed a sigh of relief and sat quietly on the sofa beside him with Douluo Yan and Yilingling. "You are so generous." At some point, Ling Yuan's figure appeared in the room. She looked at the 100,000-year soul ring floating in front of Su Ruoshi with an unparalleled sigh in her eyes. The 100,000-year-old soul ring can be given away at any time. Even for her, a title Douluo, it is the supreme treasure. You know, she didn't even have a 100,000-year soul ring, and the soul sect got a treasure that even the title Douluo envied. You can imagine the shock in her heart. Faced with Ling Yuan's sigh, Wu Xing looked indifferent and said, "If you are not generous to your own woman, how can you be generous to others? What you said means that my sister already wants to be your woman." After hearing this, Ling Yuan couldn't help but seduce. Of course, she was telling the truth. Having a man who loved her so much could really make any woman's heart flutter. And this heartbeat is different from the previous heartbeat. It is not a reward for him, but a reward for him, being able to do this for his own woman. What woman wouldn't be moved? Even she is no exception. Ling Yuan flirted with him from time to time, but Wu Xing was used to it and said calmly, "If you are willing, it's not impossible. Wait for me in Ruoshi's room tomorrow night." Ling Yuan was stunned for a moment. When she came to her senses, she curved her lips and said seductively, "Why wait until tomorrow? Can't you do it now or tonight?" "Now and tonight, I have to accompany my baby Ruoshi." Wu Xing rolled his eyes, as if he was looking at a fool. Ling Yuan was choked up. What this little man said made sense, but she couldn't refute it. Seeing the two people bickering again, Douluo Yan and Yilingling pursed their lips slightly. After more than half a month of contact, the two girls had a certain understanding of Ling Yuan. She behaved like the big sister next door, without any airs of a title Douluo. This made them feel very kind. "Forget it, you little man is so carefree, sister is afraid that there will be no place for you." Ling Yuan waved her hand, pretending to be understated. For a moment just now, she did have an impulse, but she stopped abruptly after considering her age. Wu Xing didn't know what the other party was thinking, and Ling Yuan didn't know about things in many worlds. Even if he had a copy of the diary, his horizons hadn't been fully broadened. He didn't know that the age difference was only a few decades. It wouldn't be a problem at all in Zhutian Zongman. It doesn't matter whether he is dozens of years old or thousands of years old. As a certain queen said, in 1,000,000 years, he will only be a little younger than you. Chapter 85 The Horror of the 10,000-Year Soul Ring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Half an hour passed during the conversation, and Su Ruoshi had entered the final stage. For some unknown reason, her original level 40 soul power had reached level 47 with the absorption of the soul ring. System, what's going on? Absorbing the 10,000-year perfect soul ring before didn't seem to increase the soul power level. Seeing Su Ruoshi's soul power increase, Wu Xing frowned, with a look of confusion on his face. When he absorbed the 10,000 years perfect soul ring before, he was a little surprised as to why his level 30 soul power did not increase at all. He thought it was a continent-wide Advanced Soul Master Academy competition in the anime, and many contestants were 4-ring and 40-level soul sections. So unlike the original work, it will not increase soul power, but something is wrong now. Why did Su Ruoshi absorb the 100,000-year perfect soul ring? Her soul power actually increased by 7 levels, and depending on the situation, it is possible to reach 8 levels. I see many people saying, let me change it a little here. There are indeed several 4-ring and 40-level soul sects in the anime competition. You can check the information. Ding! The 10,000-year perfect soul ring produced by the system will only strengthen the body of the soul master and will not increase the soul power. However, the energy contained in the 100,000-year perfect soul ring is huge. While strengthening the body, it will also the soul master's soul power is increased. In addition, your martial soul is special. Even if it absorbs a 100,000-year soul ring, it will not increase the soul power level like the aboriginal people. It will be around 1 to 2 levels. Is that so? Upon hearing the system's answer, Wu Xing understood and was a little happy at the same time. This way, he doesn't have to worry about his woman not being able to keep up with him later. Although he is only a level 37 soul master now, he is absolutely confident in the growth of his soul power. You must understand that it has only been less than 2 months since he obtained the martial soul. In less than 2 months, his soul power has increased by 7 levels. It can be said that it is extremely exaggerated, as Su Ruoxi completely absorbed the 100,000-year soul ring. Her soul power was finally fixed at level 48, surpassing Douluo Yan and Yilingling in one fell swoop. Honey, I've finished absorbing it. Su Ruoxi opened her eyes and felt the majestic soul power in her body. She excitedly threw herself into Wu Xing's arms, and even put her sexy red lips on her. She didn't know what to say at this moment, and she could only express her feelings at this moment by offering her own kiss. Ahem. Looking at the emotional Su Ruoxi, Ling Yuan coughed subconsciously. Ah, Sister Ling Yuan. Upon hearing this cough, Su Ruoxi quickly came to her senses and said with a blush. Xiao Ruoruo, long time no see. Ling Yuan greeted Su Ruoxi with a smile. Sister Ling Yuan, long time no see. Su Ruoxi quickly left Wu Xing's arms and replied shyly. Regarding Ling Yuan's interruption, Wu Xing rolled his eyes and said angrily, You shouldn't show up. Ling Yuan didn't care, raised her eyebrows and said, Sister, I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at Xiao Ruoruo. Wu Xing was speechless. This woman did have a good relationship with Su Ruoxi, and he couldn't find a reason to fight back. Su Ruoxi on the side saw the fight between the two, her face turned red and she was in a dilemma, and finally had no choice but to say, Husband, don't get angry with Sister Ling Yuan. Sister Ling Yuan, don't quarrel with your husband either. Su Ruoxi finished speaking coquettishly, then took Ling Yuan's hands and said happily, Sister Ling Yuan, why are you here? Sister, on the order of the Pope, came to protect your man. You see, he doesn't appreciate it at all. Why don't you sleep with your sister at night and ignore this guy who doesn't know a good heart? Ling Yuan said in a grieved tone. When Wu Xing saw it, he almost vomited blood. This woman was obviously retaliating for what he had just said. He finally understood that he would rather offend a villain than a woman, and he would regain his position whenever he had the chance. Ah! Su Ruoxi was a little dumbfounded when she heard this. She had not been intimate with her man for more than half a month, and she was already craving for him both in her heart and body, but Sister Ling Yuan asked so, and she was too embarrassed to refuse. Xiao Ruoruo, my sister is joking with you, so she won't disturb you from getting close to your man. Seeing the hesitant Su Ruoxi, Ling Yuan joked before she came. She really didn't know how this little man could make his woman miss him so much, but when I thought about the other party giving away the 100,000-year soul ring casually, I felt relieved. When Su Ruoxi heard this, she blushed and breathed a sigh of relief. Sister Ruoxi, are you now at level 48 soul power? Douluo Yan also asked at this time. The soul power released by Su Ruoxi after absorbing the soul ring just now has far exceeded hers. Is the soul power increased by the soul ring in these 100,000 years so exaggerated? Yes. Su Ruoxi nodded happily. She did not expect that after absorbing a 100,000-year soul ring, she would soon become the soul king. Thinking about it, more than a month ago, she was only a level 35 soul master. Who could have imagined that more than a month later, she would reach level 48 soul master? But she also knew that it was all because of her men that she was able to do this. Yilingling was also amazed when he heard this, and his soul power instantly increased by level 8. No wonder the 100,000-year soul ring is called the soul master's treasure. Not only the power brought by the soul skills, but also the energy contained is terrifying and extraordinary. Xiao Ruoruo, my sister is really envious of you. The soul sect has a 100,000-year soul ring, but my poor sister doesn't even have a title Douluo. Ling Yuan also sighed. Although she has 200,000-year soul ring fragments, they cannot be changed. She can only increase the year by getting a copy of the diary soul ring year growth card. Of course, she can also look for the divine test, but with her talent, the title Douluo has reached its end and cannot be recognized by the gods of the upper world. Even after taking the fairy grass, her soul power reached level 95, but she wanted to go one step further and become a peerless Douluo. These 200,000-year soul ring fragments should be regarded as gifts from my sister to you to reach the soul sect. Sister Lingyuan, this thing is too precious, I can't have it. Su Ruoshi quickly declined. It's useless for my sister to come. My sister is already a titled Douluo. Lingyuan explained, the reason why she gave this thing to Su Ruoshi was not only because she got along well with the other party, but also because Su Ruoshi was Wu Xing's first woman, and it was always right to have a good relationship. Then I can't ask for it. Su Ruoshi shook her head. She could accept the gift from Wu Xing, but because he was her man, she belonged to him, but unlike others, she couldn't just ask for gifts from Sister Yan Yan and Sister Lingling. This was the most basic principle of being a human being. Seeing that Su Ruoshi didn't accept it, Lingyuan raised her eyebrows and looked at Wu Xing who was standing aside, looking at Lingyuan who was looking at him. How could Wu Xing not understand what the other party meant, and said slowly, take it, your sister Lingyuan's wish, you can give it to me if you get a soul power level card or a soul ring year increase card another day. She is. Soul power level cards and soul ring year increase cards are relatively rare rewards among diary holders. In the past 2 months, only Yi Lingling has received them, don't ask him how he knew it. Su Ruoshi had invited a copy of the diary before and asked Du Guyen and Yi Lingling. Okay, then Ruoshi thanks sister. Wu Xing said, and Su Ruoshi had no choice but to obey. Seeing that the little man's words worked so well, Lingyuan was a little discouraged because he didn't come, but he had to admire his skill in controlling women. I'm afraid there are not many diary holders who will fall into the other party's way in the future. Chapter 86 Douluo Beauty is completely numb. You are listening at novelfull.audio. To celebrate the release of my baby Ruoshi, my husband will update a special diary today. It is said that 3 women are in a drama, and now with 4 women present, Wu Xing found that he was a little unable to get in the conversation, so he simply prepared to make a big move. Sure enough, after hearing Wu Xing's words, the women who were sitting in rows and talking happily all looked over, their eyes flickering. Du Guyen couldn't wait to ask, husband, what are you going to update? Don't you want to hear about things in various worlds? Today I will talk about the diary holders in the Golden Legend. A smile appeared on Wu Xing's face. Du Guyen and Lingyuan had already talked about this matter. For half a month, they have been listening to strange things in the Douluo world, and they have long wanted to hear about things in other worlds. Clang. Clap. As soon as Wu Xing said these words, a lot of snacks and drinks appeared on the table in front of the girls, including peanuts, melon seeds, beer, and cola. You are really acting like a bunch of melon eaters. Seeing the women's unified behavior, Wu Xing couldn't laugh or cry. Yes, everyone treats him as a storyteller. So much nonsense, hurry up and update. Lingyuan was the first to say impatiently. As agreed, sister will be rewarded. As if worried that it was not enough to watch, or that the other party was playing out of context, Lingyuan also took out a shining golden soul card and slapped it heavily on the table. He was looking forward to becoming a leader in the list. Seeing Lingyuan's domineering look, Wu Xing's mouth twitched, but he didn't say much and decisively opened the diary panel. Dear beauties, we meet again. I said before that I would update some information about the diary holder in the Golden Legend, so today I will talk about it in detail. But before talking about it, in order for everyone to better understand the situation in each world, I briefly divided the world levels. Calculated based on levels 0 to 9, the lowest is level 0 and the highest is level 9. The moment Wu Xing updated his diary, the beauties from Zhutian Zongman all received the dungeon prompt. As I read through it, I saw that the owner of the diary planned to update some content about other worlds, and everyone stopped other actions. We can finally talk about the heavens and the world. It's not that they are not interested in the Douluo world, but that they have been talking about that world during this period, and their aesthetics have begun to tire. Now they finally waited for this guy to introduce other worlds. When they thought about the possibility of their own world, they showed endless anticipation. When Wu Xing came to talk, he also divided each world into levels so that they could understand it better. Many beauties' interest has once again risen to a new level, and they are all curious about which segment of the world they live in. Although we in Douluo Continent are said to be the sewers of the fantasy world by this little fan, we can at least be in the middle, right? Bibi Dong saw this, and a light flashed in her eyes. In her opinion, there is no way that her own world can be ranked in the sewers. Level 5 or higher. Not only Bibi Dong had this idea, but also Qian Renxue, Ning Rongrong, Ling Yuan, Bo Saishi, Du Guyan, etc. also thought so, but in the next second, they were all dumbfounded, followed by a look of indignation. Take the world I live in as an example. Everyone generally knows about the same. The level of Douluo Continent can barely reach the level 2 range, and it may even not reach it. Yes, it is the level 2 range, and level 0 is the most ordinary world, without any force, without any skills, superpowers. Ordinary people in the altar, Douluo Continent can barely reach this point. Our world can only reach level 2. Or even not yet. Bibi Dong almost carried it in one breath. How could the world she was in be so low level yet so much better than the ordinary world? What a joke! If she attacks with all her strength, she can easily destroy an army. This world is actually level 2. I'm afraid Wu Xing won't have any misunderstandings about her world's title Douluo, not to mention that Bibi Dong didn't believe it, even the beauties from the Douluo world didn't believe it. Little man, do you have any misunderstandings about our world? Ling Yuan glared at Wu Xing fiercely, and then said, do you want me to show you the peak strength of a title Douluo? Yes, husband, did you make a mistake? Du Guyan also didn't want to believe it, taking level 0 as the starting point. For ordinary civilians without soul power, soul masters are completely different from them, let alone title Douluo. What's more, there are gods and other things above, and this is the world. In front of many diary holders, he is only at level 2. Looking at the vicious Ling Yuan and the Du Guyan girls who didn't want to believe it, Wu Xing spread his hands with a wry smile and said, although I don't want to admit it, it is the fact, and for your sake, I have improved it slightly. A little more. Strictly speaking, it has not reached level 2. Impossible, absolutely impossible, you are talking nonsense. Ling Yuan was full of doubts. If you don't explain clearly for a while, my sister will let you sleep alone tonight. Sister Ling Yuan. After hearing Ling Yuan's words, Su Ruoxi's face turned red and she acted coquettishly. Okay, I'll convince you later. Wu Xing rolled his eyes, not taking the threat to heart, and continued writing in his diary. Just now, Ling Yuan Douluo refused to accept my ranking and insisted on telling me that it was impossible. Then let me talk about why Douluo Continent only has a level 2 range. First point, don't look at Douluo Continent. All kinds of soul skills are flying all over the sky, and all kinds of skills are extremely dazzling. They can break mountains and rocks at the least, and destroy the heaven and earth at the worst. But for the world I lived in my previous life, these were a bit flashy, mainly reflected in physical fitness. Take hidden weapons as an example. By stimulating soul power, it can hurt gods, which already explains the problem. The second point is that as soon as I crossed over, my physical fitness reached at least soul master level. Before that, I had no ability at all. You can imagine the gap between them. The third point, using hidden weapons as the standard, let's talk about the first golden legend holder, the Shuyue sword immortal in the world of young Song Xing, Li Hani. The world she is in is a world of martial arts. There are sects like the Tang sect. The Tang sect's hidden weapons are just inferior things. They can only be used to sneak attack some relatively low-strength and unprepared warriors. For masters, they are basically useless. Nothing works. But in Douluo, it can really hurt the gods. If you look at it this way, you will find how vain the Douluo world is. As Wu Xing explained, the beauties in Douluo Continent became numb. In other worlds, the Tang sect's hidden weapons could only attack people secretly, but in their world they could directly crush gods. How could they not be dumbfounded by this huge gap? This difference is too big. Chapter 87. Bibi Dong is so scared that she doesn't want to destroy the world. You are listening at Novelful. Audio. Li Hani is a supporting character in the Young Song Xing anime. Although she doesn't appear in many scenes, she is a very popular heroine in my original world. She has a heroic appearance and looks like a fairy. Although she always shows herself in men's clothing, dressed in white and wearing a mask, it is difficult to conceal her beauty. In addition, her strength is also unparalleled in the world. The second city lord of Shuyue City, the largest city in the world, is also the Shuyue Sword Immortal, one of the 5 great sword immortals in the world. The moon, sunset, and morning flowers in one hand attracted the whole city to be surrounded by petals. It can be called the most beautiful swordsmanship in the world, and it makes people moved. In her side of the world, there are also large and small forces, which are complicated and complex. There are more than a dozen powerful ones, among which the Tang sect can only be ranked outside 5. An interesting point is that the same Tang sect hidden weapon appeared in both her world and the Douluo world, and that was the heavy rain pear blossom needle. Tang San used this hidden weapon to directly seriously injure 2 titled Douluo. Shuyue's sword immortal Li Hani was also seriously injured by the heavy rain pear blossom needle. However, the situations between the two are completely different. Tang San relied on his own power to activate the heavy rain pear blossom needle to counterkill the 2 titled Douluo, while the Shuyue sword immortal was besieged by a group of masters and was at the end of his crossbow, and in the end it was a sneak attack that succeeded. Which one is strong and which one is weak, I think it is clear to everyone. If it were a head-on confrontation, or in its heyday, this heavy rain pear blossom needle would be a joke. To sum up, the world she is in is considered level 1, and even if Douluo Continent has a divine realm, it is not too high and can only barely reach level 2. Are you convinced now? Wu Xing finished giving examples and looked at Ling Yuan lightly. Ling Yuan didn't know what to say anymore. Wu Xing had already taken out the same hidden weapon to compare. He still had any questions, it's just that it's really hard to accept such a result. After all, who wants to see the world they live in so bad? Actually, you don't have to accept it hard. Tang San is the son of fate, the biological son of God. It's just to highlight his power. When Wu Xing saw the women who were a little uncomfortable, he sighed helplessly. As in the fantasy world of Douluo Continent, it is really outrageous that this hidden weapon can be so powerful. In order to show off the protagonist's awesomeness, he really didn't have any shame. At the same time, the world of youth song, Shuyue's sword immortal Li Hani, dressed in white like snow, stood in front of the window and watched the owner of the diary talking about him, and he was also surprised in his heart. He was actually a supporting character, and he was attacked by an expert to the point of being at the end of his strength, and was even severely injured by the rainstorm pear blossom needle. But why did the Tang sect attack him? You must know that Tang sect and Shuyue city are allies, but the owner of the diary actually said it, and that was definitely correct. It seemed that he had to go and find out the reason himself. She is not worried about her own safety. Before, she was one of the 5 great swordsmen in the world, at the peak of freedom. Now she has been rewarded with a copy of the diary, and her strength has already reached the peak of fugue. After briefly talking about Shuyue's sword immortal Li Hani's pen pal, let's talk about the second golden legend, Fan Di, the light bearer from the world of Spirit Cage. This world, compared to Douluo, is different from the juvenile world, because the difference is too big. Of course, I'm not talking about strength, but the systems are completely different. If Douluo world and youth world can still be said to have some similarities, the world of the Spirit Cage is completely different. It belongs to the world of technology. As for what technology is, you can think of it as a group of ordinary people who continue to develop through wisdom and achieve technology that can change themselves. If you don't know specifically, you can get more detailed information through annotations. The world she lives in is about an unprecedented geological disaster in the future that has destroyed human civilization, and all life on the continent is almost extinct. A floating fortress in the old world managed to survive this catastrophe because of its special characteristics. The survivors in the sky named it Lighthouse, which means illuminating the last future of mankind. Because civilization has been severely damaged, this world is also called the end of the world. Fan Di, the bearer of light, was born in such a world. When Wu Xing talked about the world of spirit cage, countless diary holders were shocked. People in the technological world were better, especially the beauties who were not in the technological world, and they all refreshed their understanding. They had never thought that there was such a world, where human beings suffered annihilation, and in the end only a few survivors were left, gathering together to survive. Just thinking about it makes people shudder. Even Bibi Dong, who had the urge to destroy the world before, is now terrified because he didn't do it. We are in the end of the world, so the hierarchy here is stricter and the classes are more cruel. There are strict rules on this lighthouse, which are divided into upper people and ordinary people. Shanmin people are still doing well, but ordinary people are in misery. Their lives are worthless. However, Fan Di is a lighthouse resident and a law enforcer. Her specific appearance has been hidden under the detector mask. I don't know what her appearance is like. As far as her figure is concerned, she is very good. As for strength, he can only be regarded as the best among ordinary people. Of course, don't think that this means that the world level she is in is level 0. The charm of the technological world is that you can use the energy between heaven and earth for your own use through wisdom, and even strengthen yourself. Some humans who have been genetically enhanced are more powerful than gods. I'm talking about the gods of Douluo world. Fanti can only be regarded as a supporting role in her world, but she is considered to be a superior person. As the end of the world, many things are incompatible with most of the world. For example, take relationships as an example. Love is not allowed in this world. The world she lives in calls two people falling in love as a bad habit of the old world. Anyone found to have violated the law will be punished by being burned to death. But for the sake of inheritance, you can only enter the Dawn Hall. Well, it is a man and a woman who do not know each other, or they may be acquaintances, wearing masks to carry out the task of reproducing heirs. When all the girls in the heavens saw this, their hearts beat violently. Is this the so-called apocalypse? It's really scary to reproduce offspring like this. Seeing this, Bibi Dong also had goosebumps all over her body. For the first time, she discovered that Douluo Continent was much better than the apocalypse. If she became like this after her death, she really couldn't imagine what kind of beliefs people living in such a world relied on to survive. At this moment, she was scared. She suddenly no longer wanted to destroy the world. The world was still very beautiful. Old husband, is there really such a world? Su Ruoshi and the other girls also had goosebumps all over their bodies. When I first met my husband, I said that Shuyue's sword fairy looked like a fairy, and that Fan Di, the light bearer, had a good figure and a bit of a snack taste. Now, they are all frightened by the world view of Spirit Cage. Chapter 88 He Guangzhe wants to breed with Wu Xing, 3 updates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Of course, can I lie to you? Wu Xing said with emotion. He didn't mention that there were people watching the whole process in the Dawn Hall. After the woman gave birth to her child, she couldn't even see him once. When the girls heard this, they were startled again, and they realized that some worlds were so scary, and some worlds didn't have many humans. The cruelty of the world of Spirit Cage is far more than what I have said, but I will not introduce it in detail to avoid causing everyone's discomfort. If I had the chance to travel to the past, I would definitely do something for that world. In addition, Penpal Fondi, the character you play is a subordinate of a big villain. The belief in the light and shadow society is indeed correct. Having faith in the end of the world is more suitable for survival, but it cannot be used as a tool for brainwashing by senior officials. If this continues, things will inevitably turn against each other, and sooner or later you will be pushed into the abyss. The world of Spirit Cage, when Fan Di, the light bearer, saw this, her charming little mouth under the mask was slightly raised. After getting a copy of the diary and getting to know it for a few days, she no longer believed in any light and shadow society, but became the owner of the diary. She was very happy when she saw my lord, Wu Xing's suggestion. If my lord could come to her own world, she would definitely enter the Dawn Hall with him. Thinking of how powerful the offspring produced by her union with our lord would be, her face glowed red, and her beautiful legs under her cheongsam tightened even more subconsciously. As the law enforcer of the lighthouse, she has never entered the Hall of Dawn. This is also due to the fact that she is the second in command of the Light and Shadow Society, and the Hall of Dawn is within her jurisdiction. Otherwise, if our Lord comes, she will be unclean, which will be a great offense to her. As for his boss Charles. What is that? She believed in the Society of Light and Shadow before, which was completely an illusion created by the other party's imagination, but after seeing the power of the diary copy, our Lord is her true belief. Only if my Lord is like this, and can take a big step forward in his strength casually, can he be regarded as a god. Now that our Lord has said that he will do something for her world after coming, she is even more excited. Of course, the reason why Fan Di, the bearer of light, became like this is because of the influence of the Light and Shadow Society for many years, which led to a stronger impulse towards faith. In front of people, she is still the cold law enforcer, Lord Lightbearer, but behind people, she has begun to make plans to cultivate more believers for our Lord. Wu Xing didn't know that he already had a loyal believer from another world, and he continued to write hard. Although the majority of people in this world are ordinary people, if they use technology, they can go a long way, so they are divided into levels 1 to 2. After talking about Fan Di, the light bearer in the world of Spirit Cage, let's talk about the third golden legendary diary holder, the Holy Kesha in Super God World. This world is also a world of technology, but the technology in this world has reached unprecedented heights. If the technology in the world of Spirit Cage is that of a newborn baby, the technology of Super God World has already reached adults. There is no comparability between the two. Holy Kesha is not a human being, but the queen of the angel clan, and is hailed as the king of gods by countless civilizations. Strength is extremely exaggerated. Take the angel clan as an example. An ordinary angel warrior in the Douluo world is enough to sweep away the god king, and holding a flaming sword can turn the entire Douluo Continent into ashes. And these angel warriors are just third-generation angels. There are also third-generation divine bodies and fourth-generation divine bodies above them. In addition, Holy Kesha has an immortal body. Even if you divide her into countless pieces, she can be quickly aggregated, and even her atomic state can be restored. Besides, if you want to hurt her, ordinary weapons, no matter how powerful they are, will not do it. You need special targeted weapons to do it, so this is a representative of high-end combat power, a boss-level figure. Her age is more than 30,000 years old. Ahem, the queen doesn't mind telling your age, right? You shouldn't mind, right? You are definitely not like Pai Pai Shi. If you were Pai Pai Shi, I would definitely not tell anyone. Otherwise, I would assign her to hold grudges. Super God World. Wu Xing. She gritted his teeth when he saw this. She never thought that she was just reading a diary and originally planned to eat Kesha's melon, but ended up eating it on herself. Seeing She's angry look from the side, Kesha suddenly burst out with a smile and joked, it seems that after today, all the comics in the world will know about your title. Manly bitch. Hearing Kesha's teasing, the Queen He was so angry that she stopped shouting. If an angel were to pass by at this time, his jaw would definitely drop. His own queen has such a title. Facing He's retaliation, Kesha smiled slightly and didn't take it to heart. This title would not appear in the diary copy anyway. Seeing Kesha's indifferent expression, she became very angry again, and secretly swore in her heart that if this little guy came to their world to do a mission, she would catch him and punish him severely, otherwise he would even be sorry for himself. Title, Douluo Continent. Many beauties became nervous when they saw Kesha's introduction. They knew that this person was a powerful person, but they never thought that this powerful subordinate could easily erase their world. The other party still has an immortal body. Even if it is divided into countless pieces, it can be put together, and even the tiniest atom can be restored. They no longer know how to describe their feelings at this time. More than 30,000 years old is also extremely exaggerated. You have to know how long a peerless Douluo can live. It can be regarded as a legend. Holy Kesha is also a great leader, step by step overthrowing the original cruel rule. and establishing an angelic civilization that is admired by countless civilizations. The justice order implemented seems to me to be quite good, but judging from the position of many beings, I think this order is too idealistic. But no matter what, she has strictly abided by it. Not many people and not many lives can do this. For this reason, Queen Kesha is the most sacred existence in my mind. But unfortunately, Queen Kesha was just a supporting role, and finally chose to go offline. Otherwise, no one in the world she was in could have taken her offline. I, a young man like me, don't understand the boss's thoughts anyway. It's just that many things happened in the future and I was a little confused. Queen, do you choose to go offline? She's eyes widened when he saw this. Yeah. Now that the diary owner said it, Kesha didn't need to hide it from her best friend. Why? She's heart became heavy when she heard this. She probably guessed the other party's intention. There is no reason. I just want the angel civilization to have a broader future. Kesha shook her head and said lightly, as a queen, she is undoubtedly the most qualified. Chapter 89 The Supreme Giant. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Based on the level of Super God World, it is probably around level 6, which is a plane with really high combat power. Level 6. When Wu Xing gave this world a 6-level rating, it surprised many beauties in Variety Comics. The previous 3 worlds, including the world that the diary owner is currently traveling through, are only in the level 1 to 2 category. Now that they had jumped directly to level 6, they realized that Wu Xing's brief introduction had not yet presented the world. Level 6, you actually gave it such a high rating. Kesha in the Super God world looked at the world level given by Wu Xing in the diary copy, and she was a little surprised. According to the diary notes she read and the analysis of the data collected on the closest Earth star in the Chiwu star system, she thought her world was probably at level 5. The owner of the diary improved by 1 more level, which was indeed a bit unexpected. In Douluo world, many diary holders were shocked when they saw Wu Xing classifying Super God world into level 6. After all, Wu Xing usually updates this world, so he understands it better. The gap between civilians and soul masters among them is already huge, not to mention compared with title Douluo and the higher gods, but it only fluctuates between level 0-2, but the world of super gods is completely different by 4 levels. They can't imagine how exaggerated the gap between these 4 levels is. No wonder any angel warrior could easily destroy the Douluo Continent, which made them feel an unprecedented sense of oppression. Next, let's talk about the 4th diary holder, Lu Shenin, Perfect World. If Douluo Continent is the sewer of the fantasy world, Perfect World is the ceiling of the fantasy world. She is a giant of the supreme immortal king, with unparalleled splendor and strength. Her combat prowess shocked the past and present. She once entered a foreign land alone, entered and exited 9 times, and killed the immortal king of the foreign land with fear. Only such a person can be called a god. If she were willing, she might be able to destroy Douluo Continent and the god realm together with just a wave of her hand. This. Bibi Dong's eyes widened. With just a wave of her hand, could she destroy the world she was in, as well as the powerful gods in her eyes? Doesn't this mean that the other party is more powerful than the king of gods in the super god world, Holy Kesha? Could it be that the world she lives in has reached level 7? In the Poseidon temple, Bo Saishi, who had always been calm, had a mentality that he had cultivated over the past 100 years, causing huge ripples at this moment. It is really too terrifying. No matter how good your character is, you can't stand it. After all, a being who can destroy the Douluo Continent and the god realm with a wave of his hand cannot achieve peace even if he wants to. Even Bo Saishi is like this, let alone other Douluo beauties. Ning Rongrong said that the other world is too scary and she just wants to stay in her own world. A wave of your hand can destroy a world. Who can withstand it? Who cannot panic? I have mentioned this woman before, but I mentioned it briefly. Although I was shocked, it was not as clear a metaphor as it is now. The oppression brought about now is even further. This bad guy can't stop being so scary. When Ling Yuan saw Wu Xing talking about Kesha, she didn't know how to describe her feelings. Now that Lu Xing came out, she wanted to pee. As for the high-spiritedness just now, this guy Wu Xing has never seen anything like his full strength, so he has long forgotten it. Are you kidding me? Can I destroy a mountain with all my strength? Maybe, probably, should be able to do it, but look at other people, even if the continent is gone, how can they compare? Compare it to what? Of course, these shocks were far from over. As Wu Xing was exposed again, they all took a breath, and their hearts could not bear it. Regarding her identity, she was once an ancestral sacrificial spirit in the ancient immortal era. She fought alone in a foreign land for the final battle, and then turned into a seed and fell to the stone village in the lower realm. She took root in the form of a willow tree and became the stone village sacrificial spirit, so she was called Willow God. In addition, she is not limited to the tree body, she can transform into a human form. There is also a description of her. Her appearance is astonishing, and she has a flawless body. She stands alone, with flawless snow and flawless clothes, as bright as the moon, with wisps of white mist fills the air, and there are 3,000 light groups around it, which is one world after another. Each light group is a piece of heaven and earth, containing many ancient countries, where countless gods and demons are worshipping her, and the sound of chanting can be heard. All over the world, endless gods and demons are praying in salute. Dots of crystal and hazy brilliance make this figure the only one in the world, eternal and immortal. 3,000 light groups. Each light group is a world, and each light group is a world. Nowadays, many beauties have bulging eyes. No wonder she can destroy a world with a wave of her hand. No wonder she is said to be a supreme giant. Her own dharma contains so many worlds, which is simply too heaven-defying, these are beyond their reach. How powerful is this, and how exaggerated is it? When the strength reaches a certain level, it is no longer a surprise, but a complete shock. They are really worried that the power of such a world will suddenly land in their world one day, and everything will be wiped out in a blink of an eye. Who will they cry to then? Supreme bosses like her can be said to be immortal. Even if they fall, they will find a way to resurrect. So her existence is already the ceiling of the fantasy world, and her world level is around level 8. World level 8. It actually reached level 8. Doesn't it mean that this world is just one level away from reaching the top of the sky? Of course, the girls didn't know that level 8 was actually the highest level in Wu Xing's eyes. As for level 9, he just reserved it. After all, these are animations derived from the original world. There is no highest, only higher. If I insist on saying it, it is that the original world is the most powerful, the earth in the original world is the most powerful, and you readers are the strongest, and you are the level 9 existences. Only with your approval can these worlds be created and presented to everyone. A perfect world. A willow tree fluttered in the wind, and suddenly a ray of light flashed, and the willow tree turned into a peerless goddess. She held a copy of the diary in her hand and looked at the contents. A glimmer of light shone in her eyes. This diary owner is very extraordinary, he actually knows everything about her. When she first obtained a copy of the diary, she began to deduce it through her supreme magical power, only to find a chaos that was unpredictable, as if there was an indescribable barrier protecting the mystery inside. Later, through the introduction of the diary owner, she realized that her world was also created by the other person before he traveled through time. At that moment, she was a little distracted, but after the other party updated his diary one by one, and now introduced her identity, she finally believed that the world where the other party was originally located was the origin of all worlds. Chapter 90. The number 1 Empress in Ancient and Modern Times. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After talking about Lu Xun, let's talk about the last diary holder today, the ruthless emperor from the world of Zhitian. She is the most amazingly talented and beautiful emperor in history, the most talented woman in ancient times, and the most ruthless person in ancient and modern times. From Wu Xing's evaluation of the ruthless emperor, diary holders from countless worlds felt deeply touched. The most amazing and beautiful emperor, the most talented woman in ancient times, and the most ruthless person in ancient and modern times. What kind of woman is this, who can actually get such high recognition? The ruthless emperor looks down on the past and the present. She fights with the sky, the earth, and herself. She is not gifted, but she kills all the kings by herself, becomes independent in the 9 heavens, and finally walks away with a physique that is inferior to the mortal body, reaching the pinnacle and becoming one of the most powerful figures in ancient and modern times. When this line of words appeared on the copy of the diary, all diary holders, no matter where they came from or what world they came from, were shocked and amazed by it. Fight with heaven, fight with earth, fight with yourself. This is such a bold and unrestrained ambition, this is such a soul-stirring feeling. And her talent is not extraordinary, but she is able to kill all the kings by herself and become independent in the 9 heavens. No wonder she is called the most stunning emperor and the most talented woman in ancient times. She is well deserved. In a world that attaches great importance to talent, they know how difficult it is, but this ruthless emperor has achieved a level beyond the reach of ordinary people and even geniuses. She is indeed worthy of these titles, and she is indeed a strange woman that they need to look up to. In Zhejian world, although she is not the heroine, she is even more stunning than the heroine. She can become a powerful empress that shocks the world. Ancient and modern times, she created the amazing sky-swallowing demon technique for eternity, not to make herself an immortal, but just because she wanted to wait for her brother's return, so she started practicing from a mortal body. Tao, and even become immortals in the world of mortals. Her words "I am just waiting for you to return in this world of mortals" moved countless people to tears. Others need to cut off their obsessions if they want to attain enlightenment, but the ruthless emperor attained enlightenment because of her obsession. From the beginning to the end, she never let go of her obsession, and all of this started from her childhood. The childhood of the ruthless emperor was the same as that of many children from poor families. Her parents passed away very early. She grew up relying on her brother, who was his only relative. They were very poor at that time, and having enough food, clothing, and warmth was a luxury for the two of them. Although life was hard, her brother was a pistachio. In order to make her happy, her brother used bronze sheets to make her He got a ring. Although it was very rough and not as good as those treasures, it was regarded as a treasure by the ruthless emperor. But fate always plays tricks on poor people. Such a happy time is very short-lived. Her brother was later forcibly taken away by the Ascension God dynasty because he had a holy body, but she was abandoned because she was unable to practice. And this parting became their last meeting, because when they met again, the ruthless emperor only waited for his brother's bones, and no one saw her again from then on. That is, from that time on, the ruthless emperor embarked on a bloody road of no return. As that sentence said, she fought with the sky, the earth, and herself, not because of her natural talent, but because of her that obsession in my heart. Even after she became enlightened, she wiped out the Yuhuashan dynasty with one blow, wiped out the forbidden area of the sky with one sword, and reversed life after life. From the beginning to the end, she was looking for her brother. Looking at the words that emerged bit by bit, and the introduction bit by the ruthless emperor, all the diary holders were silent at this moment. They were both moved to tears by each other's obsession, felt sympathy for her experiences, and were even more amazed by her achievements. Everyone has obsessions in their hearts, and everyone has injustices in their hearts, but who else in the past and present can do what she does? Husband, can your resurrection technique save this sister's brother? Women are very emotional. After reading the growth experience of the ruthless emperor, Su Ruoxi had the idea of letting her man resurrect her brother. After hearing Su Ruoxi's words, Du Guyan and Yi Lingling also looked at Wu Xing expectantly. It should be possible. Wu Xing thought about it for a moment and replied calmly, his resurrection technique does not have any requirements, and these are all characters derived from his original world, so it is not difficult to do so. That's great. When the women heard this, they clapped their hands violently, with happy smiles on their faces. Husband, when you go to Zhejian world one day, you must resurrect your brother for the ruthless emperor sister. Okay. Wu Xing nodded without thinking, and then wrote a line of words in the diary panel, ruthless pen pal, my girlfriend just said, let me go to your world one day and help resurrect your brother. Based on my original worldview, it should be possible. I will contact you in a copy of the diary when the time comes. Okay, I'll stop here for today's inventory. The levels of Zhetian and Perfect World are both at level 8. There are actually some connections between these two worlds, which will be discussed in detail later. So goodbye beauties and thank you for listening. Facing Wu Xing's writing, many diary holders are still feeling emotional. They are still not satisfied with each world described by the diary owner today, and they are reluctant to close the copy of the diary. They didn't expect that besides their world, there were so many different worlds. Besides their world, there were so many amazing things, and they never thought that there were so many heaven-defying existences. Today, they have broadened their horizons and broadened their horizons. At the same time, they began to admire this amazing and talented emperor in their hearts, and they also wanted to fight with the sky, the earth, and themselves. The world of shading the sky. In the ancient restricted area, the ruthless emperor was dressed in white, floating like a real fairy on the dust. He was incomparably beautiful. His white jade feet were like stepping through time and space, and his face under the mask showed no expression, but in front of her, there was a copy of the diary glowing with golden light. Looking at one of the lines in it, her body that could not be seen clearly was trembling slightly. From the moment she got a copy of the diary, she began to deduce it through her own magical powers, but found that this strange thing appeared in front of her, as if there was a chaos blocking her exploration. No matter how hard she deduced, the drill made no progress, as if there was something in the dark, covering it, and then, through the contents of the diary, she slowly learned about the deeds of the owner of the diary, and then realized that her world was actually derived from the other person's previous life. At that moment, she wanted to go to Douluo Continent to find the other person. But in the end they all ended in failure, as if there was a barrier between this world and that world, which could not be touched or entered. Then after seeing the owner of the diary obtain the resurrection technique, she wanted to find him even more, and she stayed in the ancient forbidden land trying to open a passage between the two worlds. Now that she saw the owner of the diary saying that he would help her resurrect her brother, she finally stopped.